See now the latest effort to curb the spread of coronavirus, vaccine mandates now for some workers. It's sparking a debate about how far employers can go in requiring the shot. Joining us right now to talk more about that is David Sprinkle of Veritas Recruiting Group. Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
You as well. Thanks for having me on.
So let's talk first about these mandates, right? Because a lot of employers are going through the same thing. Do we require it? What happens if we do? Is it legal?
Yes, it is legal to require that your employees get vaccinated. Is it the right choice? That depends on the company and the employer. Both sides of that equation have to figure out the employment agreement between the two, which is whether or not I want to work here and whether or not I want to employ you. And so the vaccine is going to be another variable that's coming into play for both sides of that equation.
So, David, let's talk about, because the big story this morning is the Orange County Tax Collector's Office and VA workers, right? That these are two government entities are now saying you have to be vaccinated. Is there a difference between whether it's a government employer or a private employer who's requiring it?
There isn't. There's no difference. Florida's an at-will state, so private employers can require it the same as a government entity can require their employees. There's no laws that stop any employer, government or private, to require it. So there's no difference.
What about the exceptions to the rule? Because there's always exceptions, right? What if you go to your boss and you say, look, I have a religious reason for not wanting to get it, or you go to your boss and say, my doctor said I shouldn't get it. Then what?
Those are the only two areas that there potentially could be an exemption. But you have to be able to prove it as an employee. So if you have a religious exemption that's legitimate, then that your employer could still fire you, but you could have a case then. However, if your religious exemption is I just converted to the religion of I don't like vaccines, it's probably not going to hold up in court. So religious exemptions, and then anything from a disability standpoint. Because those are the two things under that you could file a case for discrimination for either religious or disability, so a medical disability. But again, you've got to be able to prove it and have some documentation to back it up.
So, David, here in the state of Florida, we know the governor has already said, and that's, of course, the whole issue that we're having with the cruise industry getting back up, is that you can't ask people whether or not they have been vaccinated. So how does that play into, the office setting?
That is, it combines politics with what the law is. And so the governor stating that, whether or not that's a Florida law, becomes where it gets a little bit tricky. Some people will also say, well, HIPAA says that I don't have to disclose it. And they don't know what HIPAA means. HIPAA just means your doctor won't disclose information about your medical history. Your employer can ask. You have every right to not answer that question. But your employer has every right to then let you go if you don't answer the question. And it's an at-will state. You can leave your employment for any reason that you choose, and your employer can fire you for any reason that's not discriminatory. So the bigger question is, if they're requiring it, is that something that you agree with and want to continue working there? This is a hot labor market. It's a hot job market. If you don't like where you're working for that reason or any other reason, it's a good time to put the feelers out and start looking at some other options and seeing if maybe there's a better home for you.
All right. Well, it's certainly a topic. It's not going away anytime soon. David Sprinkle with Veritas Recruiting. Always good to talk to you, David. Thank you.
Thank you.